Chapter 10 of Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Mary Anderson. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm by Kate Douglas Wiggin. Chapter 10 Rainbow Bridges. Uncle Jerry coughed and stirred in his chair a good deal during Rebecca's recital, but he carefully concealed any undue feeling of sympathy, just muttering, "Poor little soul, we'll see what we can do for her." "You will take me to Maplewood, won't you, Mr. Cobb?" begged Rebecca piteously. "Don't you fret a mite," he answered, with a crafty little notion at the back of his mind. "I'll see the lady passenger through somehow. Now take a bite of something to eat, child. Spread some of that tomato preserve on your bread. Draw up to the table. How'd you like to set in mother's place and pour me out another cup of hot tea?" Mr. Jeremiah Cobb's mental machinery was simple, and did not move very smoothly save when propelled by his affection or sympathy. In the present case these were both employed to his advantage, and mourning his stupidity, and praying for some flash of inspiration to light his path, he blundered along, trusting to Providence. Rebecca, comforted by the old man's tone, and timidly enjoying the dignity of sitting in Mrs. Cobb's seat and lifting the blue china teapot, smiled faintly, smoothed her hair, and dried her eyes. "I suppose your mother'll be turrible glad to see you back again?" queried Mr. Cobb. A tiny fear, just a baby thing, in the bottom of Rebecca's heart stirred and grew larger the moment it was touched with a question. "She won't like it that I ran away, I s'pose, and she'll be sorry that I couldn't please Aunt Miranda, but I'll make her understand, just as I did you. I s'pose she was thinking o' your schoolin', lettin' you come down here. But land, you can go to school in Temperance, I s'pose?" "There's only 2 months' school now in Temperance, and the farm's too far from all the other schools." "Oh, well, there's other things in the world besides edjercation," responded Uncle Jerry, attacking a piece of apple pie. "Yes, though mother thought that was going to be the making of me," returned Rebecca sadly, giving a dry little sob as she tried to drink her tea. "It'll be nice for you to be all together again at the farm, such a house full of children," remarked the dear old deceiver, who longed for nothing so much as to cuddle and comfort the poor little creature. "It's too full, that's the trouble, but I'll make Hannah come to Riverboro in my place." "S'pose Mirandy and Jane'll have her? I should be most afraid they wouldn't. They'll be kind o' mad at your goin' home, you know, and you can't hardly blame 'em." This was quite a new thought, that the brick house might be closed to Hannah since she, Rebecca, had turned her back upon its cold hospitality. "How is this school down here in Riverboro? Pretty good?" inquired Uncle Jerry, whose brain was working with an altogether unaccustomed rapidity, so much so that it almost terrified him. "Oh, it's a splendid school, and Miss Dearborn is a splendid teacher." "You like her, do you? Well, you'd better believe she returns the compliment. Mother was down to the store this afternoon buyin' liniment for Seth Strout, and she met Miss Dearborn on the bridge. They got to talkin' 'bout school, for mother has summer boarded a lot of the schoolmarms, and likes 'em. 'How does the little Temperance girl get along?' asks mother. 'Oh, she's the best scholar I have,' says Miss Dearborn. 'I could teach school from sun up to sundown if scholars were all like Rebecca Randall,' says she." "Oh, Mr. Cobb, did she say that?" glowed Rebecca, her face sparkling and dimpling in an instant. "I've tried hard all the time, but I'll study the covers right off the books now." "You mean you would if you'd been goin' to stay here," interposed Uncle Jerry. "Now, ain't it too bad you've jest got to give it all up on account of your Aunt Mirandy?" "Well, I can't hardly blame ye. She's cranky and she's sour. I should think she'd been nussed on bonny clabber and green apples. She needs bearin' with, and I guess you ain't much on patience, be ye?" "Not very much," replied Rebecca dolefully. "If I'd had this talk with ye yesterday," pursued Mr. Cobb, "I believe I'd have advised ye different. It's too late now, and I don't feel to say you've been all in the wrong; but if it was to do over again, I'd say, well, your Aunt Mirandy gives you clothes and board and schoolin', and is goin' to send you to wear 'em at a big expense. She's terrible hard to get along with, and kind o' heaves benefits at your head, same as she would bricks, but they're benefits jest the same, and maybe it's your job to kind o' pay for 'em in good behavior. Jane's a leetle bit more easy goin' than Mirandy, ain't she, or is she jest as hard to please?" "Oh, Aunt Jane and I get along splendidly!" exclaimed Rebecca. "She's just as good and kind as she can be, and I like her better all the time. I think she kind o' likes me, too. She smoothed my hair once. I'd let her scold me all day long, for she understands, but she can't stand up for me against Aunt Mirandy. She's about as afraid of her as I am. Jane'll be real sorry to morrow to find you've gone away, I guess, but never mind, it can't be helped. If she has a kind of dull time with Mirandy on account of her bein' so sharp, why, of course she'd set great store by your company. Mother was talkin' with her after prayer meetin' the other night. 'You wouldn't know the brick house, Sarah,' says Jane. 'I'm keepin' a sewin' school, and my scholar has made 3 dresses. What do you think o' that?' says she, 'for an old maid's child?' 'I've taken a class in Sunday school,' says Jane, 'and think of renewin' my youth and goin' to the picnic with Rebecca,' says she, 'and mother declares she never seen her look so young and happy.'" There was a silence that could be felt in the little kitchen, a silence only broken by the ticking of the tall clock and the beating of Rebecca's heart, which, it seemed to her, almost drowned the voice of the clock. The rain ceased, a sudden rosy light filled the room, and through the window a rainbow arch could be seen spanning the heavens like a radiant bridge. Bridges took one across difficult places, thought Rebecca, and Uncle Jerry seemed to have built one over her troubles and given her strength to walk. "The shower's over," said the old man, filling his pipe. "It's cleared the air, washed the face of the airth nice and clean, and everything to morrer will shine like a new pin when you and I are driven up river." Rebecca pushed her cup away, rose from the table, and put on her hat and jacket quietly. "I'm not going to drive up river, Mr. Cobb," she said. "I'm going to stay here and catch bricks, catch 'em without throwin' 'em back, too. I don't know as Aunt Mirandy will take me in after I've run away, but I'm going back now while I have the courage. You wouldn't be so good as to go with me, would you, Mr. Cobb?" "You'd better b'lieve your Uncle Jerry don't propose to leave till he gets this thing fixed up," cried the old man delightedly. "Now you've had all you kin stand to night, poor little soul, without gettin' a fit o' sickness, and Mirandy'll be sore and cross and in no condition for argument. So my plan is just this: to drive you over to the brick house in my top buggy, to have you set back in the corner, and I get out and go to the side door, and when I get your Aunt Mirandy and Aunt Jane out int' the shed to plan for a load o' wood I'm goin' to have hauled there this week, you'll slip out o' the buggy and go upstairs to bed. The front door won't be locked, will it?" "Not this time of night," Rebecca answered. "Not till Aunt Mirandy goes to bed. But oh, what if it should be!" "Well, it won't, and if 'tis, why, we'll have to face it out, though in my opinion there's things that won't bear facin' out, and better be settled comfortable and quiet. You see, you ain't run away yet. You've only come over here to consult me about runnin' away, and we've concluded it ain't wuth the trouble. The only real sin you've committed, as I figure it out, was in comin' here by the winder when you'd been sent to bed. That ain't so very black, and you can tell your Aunt Jane 'bout it come Sunday, when she's chock full o' religion, and she can advise you when you'd better tell your Aunt Mirandy." I don't believe in deceivin' folks, but if you've hed hard thoughts, you ain't obleeged to own 'em up. Take 'em to the Lord in prayer, as the hymn says, and then don't go on hevin' 'em. Now come on. I'm all hitched up to go over to the post office. Don't forget your bundle. It's always a journey, mother, when you carry a nightgown. Them's the first words your Uncle Jerry ever heard you say. He didn't think you'd be bringin' your nightgown over to his house. Step in and curl up in the corner. We ain't goin' to let folks see little runaway gals, 'cause they're goin' back to begin all over agin." When Rebecca crept upstairs, and undressing in the dark finally found herself in her bed that night, though she was aching and throbbing in every nerve, she felt a kind of peace stealing over her. She had been saved from foolishness and error, kept from troubling her poor mother, prevented from angering and mortifying her aunts. Her heart was melted now, and she determined to win Aunt Miranda's approval by some desperate means, and to try and forget the one thing that rankled worse, the scornful mention of her father, of whom she thought with the greatest admiration, and whom she had not yet heard criticized, for such sorrows and disappointments as Aurelia Randall had suffered had never been communicated to her children. It would have been some comfort to the bruised, unhappy little spirit to know that Miranda Sawyer was passing an uncomfortable night, and that she tacitly regretted her harshness, partly because Jane had taken such a lofty and virtuous position in the matter. She could not endure Jane's disapproval, although she never have confessed to such a weakness. As Uncle Jerry drove homeward under the stars, well content with his attempts at keeping the peace, he thought wistfully at the touch of Rebecca's head on his knee, and the rain of her tears on his hand, of the sweet reasonableness of her mind when she had the matter put rightly before her, of her quick decision when she had once seen the path of duty, of the touching hunger for love and understanding that were so characteristic in her. "Lord A'mighty!" he ejaculated under his breath. "Lord A'mighty! To hector and abuse a child like that one! 'Tain't abuse exactly, I know, or 'twouldn't be the same o' your elephant hided young ones, but to that little tender will o' a wisp, a hard word's like a lash. Mirandy Sawyer would be a heap better woman if she had a little gravestun to remember, same's mother and I have." "I never see a child improve in her work as Rebecca has to day," remarked Miranda Sawyer to Jane on Saturday evening. "That settin' down I gave her was probably just what she needed, and I dare say it'll last for a month. A cringing worm is what you want, not a bright, smiling child. Rebecca looks to me as if she'd been through the 7 Years' War. When she came downstairs this morning it seemed to me she'd grown old in the night. If you follow my advice, which you seldom do, you'll let me take her and Emma Jane down beside the river to morrow afternoon, and bring Emma Jane home to a good Sunday supper. Then if you'll let her go to Milltown with the Cobbs on Wednesday, that'll hearten her up a little, and coax back her appetite. Wednesday's a holiday on account of Miss Dearborn's going home to her sister's wedding, and the Cobbs and the Perkinses want to go down to the agricultural fair." Chapter 10.